Hey, y'all, and welcome back to the Making Motherhood podcast. I am your host, Jamie Bright, and I am super excited about today's episode. The first thing I'm excited about is it is episode number 9. And I don't know if y'all know this, but I learned in this podcasting class that I took that most podcasts never even make it past episode number 7. So to make it to number 9, we're already 2 more past what many podcasts ever get to. And I truly appreciate each and every person that listens. Even if you just listen for a little bit, I really appreciate it. It helps with the algorithm. It helps build, my exposure on the different platforms. But speaking of that, I'm also super excited. Yesterday, when I checked how many downloads that I've had since beginning this, I just started the podcast back in December, the very last Monday of December in 2024. And we are now at the very first week of March. So all of January and all of February across all of the platforms that this streams on, which we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Amazon, we're on YouTube, we're on a bunch of different little ones, iHeartRadio, things like that. But over all of the different streaming services and apps that we are streaming on, we have had over 200 downloads. And that to me means more than I can even express. So thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing with your friends. Thank you for inviting new people to listen. And just thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up for me. Thank you for showing up for yourself, because that's really what this is about. It's about showing up for yourself and spending a little time each week just remembering to slow down and think about what life is really all about and where that magic really is. And especially since last week's episode was a little on the heavy side. It was about grief, but it was talking about how grief is a magical gift when we really look at it. But I figured this week we're going to go the opposite direction. We are going to really talk about why motherhood is magical. What is the magic of motherhood? So to start this week off, I would like to start off with my magic moment of the week. I live in Colorado and I adore spending time outside. Now, don't get me wrong, it has been cold for a while. I have not been getting in my normal walks. I have not been getting in enough outside time, and it reflects it. My attitude reflects it. The kids' attitude reflects it. Even the dog's attitude reflects the fact that we have not been spending enough time outside. So this weekend, we spent it outside all weekend. In fact, it's the second weekend in a row we've gotten to spend outside all weekend. We went on a great hike last weekend, and this weekend we did just some walking around the neighborhood on the trail that is here by us. We walked along the river. We did go out on a little hike that goes out to this little point that looks out over our reservoir, which our reservoir is so full of water right now. It's so exciting. Like, there is no drought conditions going on in Pueblo, Colorado right now. And that is so freaking exciting. When we moved here, our reservoir looked like you could almost see the bottom. And I would say we're probably at full capacity. I haven't Googled it, so I'm not sure. But anyway, long story short, we have spent a ton of time outside this weekend. And my magic moment this week comes from one of those outside moments. So me and my youngest, he is 7, we're down at a school that's just right down the street from us. It's not the school that they go to, but it is an elementary school, and it has a really great blacktop that we can roller skate at. And it has like a big obstacle course, like one of those old school obstacle courses where, it has like the push-up one and the bars and all the different, little things. But anyway, we went down to test out a new pair of cleats. Zeke has never owned a pair of cleats before, and he is going to start soccer. So I went and got him a little pair of cleats, and he's been running around the house in them, which goes against everything that I believe in. But I'm an okayest mom now, and so I was like, "What the fuck? It's just whatever. I don't care." I paid $5 for them at the thrift store, so they're not going to ruin my floors. If you ruin your cleats, it's on you. And I let him just wear them around the house, but he wasn't really truly getting what it was to wear cleats. So I was like, "Let's go down to the park and let you run around the obstacle course and see just exactly what cleats are all about because they've got great grass there, and I knew that they would be perfect for these cleats." So we are down there, and I am sitting actually where you're supposed to be doing sit ups. I was sitting and I was drawing cards and journaling, and I was watching him play. And I had my earbuds in. I have this really nice set of earbuds that my oldest son gave me that I freaking adore. They're the kind that like clip on your ear, but it still keeps your ear open. So when I'm on a walk, especially if I'm on a walk alone, I can hear what's going on outside, but I can also jam out to whatever I'm jamming out to. Another great plus about being able to hear out of it is that I don't know if y'all know this. I love singing. I'm not great at singing, but I adore singing. And I was listening to a song that is very meaningful in a lot of different ways. But I was singing to it while I was journaling, and Zeke was doing his thing. And the song I was listening to is called Oceans, and it is a Christian song. It is by Hillsong United. And it means a lot to me, not just because of the actual song, but because of things that I associate with that song, such as my oldest daughter and a trip that her and my oldest son got to go to, where they got to go to kayak in Monterey Bay. And it was an amazing, amazing trip that they got to take. That every time I hear that song, it just warms my heart that they've gotten to do those things that I've never gotten to do. I've gotten to do other great things, but I haven't gotten to go to Monterey, and they totally got to. And the song is about 8 minutes long. And I probably listened to it for about 4 or 5 times. So, I mean, we're talking around 45 minutes of just chilling, watching him do his thing. And that's one of my neurodivergent things. I can listen to one song on repeat for a really long time. And it probably drives a lot of people nuts, but it soothes me. And that's what I was doing. I was all about getting in a state of peace and a great mindset. And that's exactly what I was doing. And I watched him from playing soccer to playing on the slides as a playground. And then at one point, I was just enjoying watching him. And he got this big ass stick, which we are big stick lovers. We love sticks, we love rocks, we love bones. And if any of those three things are in nature and it's above average, it's probably coming home with us. But he had this big stick that he was throwing like a javelin into the tree, except it wasn't really shaped like a javelin. It was really more shaped like something that a Viking would take into the battlefield. It looked like you club someone's head with it. And I was just hoping that Zeke didn't club his own head on accident, throwing it up into the tree. But I was enjoying watching him, and I was in a really, really good place. Um, it was the weather, like I said earlier, we are really in the spring energy right now. And I keep trying to tell myself I'm not going to fall for it, that I know there's more winter coming because it it has snowed as late as May 24th here. One year I had all my aloes outside and we were moving, and I had to drive at 4 o'clock in the morning to the other side of town to take my aloes inside so that they wouldn't get snowed on because I didn't want them to die. And yeah, that was at the end of May. So like I'm loving this weather. It was like 63 degrees and sunny, and there was just this most gentle breeze. It was just in and of itself, it was a magical moment outside. And I was pulling cards, like I said. This month's theme in this journal that I was doing is Tantra, which is a balance of the male and the feminine. And that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to tap into, the balance of all of it. And I was journaling and singing and crying and singing. And I was having happy tears and sad tears. It was just a very emotional a good emotional release type situation. I was really, really feeling in tune with spirit, and I was living in the moment, and I was loving my life. And its simplicity at that moment was just everything that I needed. And I continued to watch him all the while I was singing, and I started gathering up my stuff and, gave him his 5-minute warning, because he's one of those kids that if you don't give him a timer or warning, hey, we have 10 minutes, hey, we have 8 minutes, hey, we have 5 minutes, then he is a hot, angry mess by the time it's time to really go, if you don't kind of work him up to it. So anyway, we were getting our stuff together, and he was by me, and I asked Zeke, because I was still singing. I was like, hey, Zeke, you think Mama's a pretty good singer? And he looked me dead in the face and said, no, but I can tell that it makes you happy. And that's what really matters, right, Mama? And he's so right. That is what really matters. What brings us joy is what brings us our magic moments. What fills us full of happiness is what really matters. It doesn't matter if we're good at it. It doesn't matter if other people enjoy it. It matters if we enjoy it. And so that was the magic moment of the week, was Zeke telling me that no, I'm really not that great of a singer, but it brings me happiness, and that's what matters. And that is what I'm going to focus on this week, is the happiness that really does matter. So let's get started with this week's card draw from the Seasons of the Witch in Bulk Oracle. We are a little bit more than halfway through the Imbolc season now. And next up is Ostara, which is all that spring energy that we were talking about, that I've been enjoying so much of. And I will tell you that I did receive the deck. This is the box. Give you a little sneak preview. It's a gorgeous deck, and I cannot wait to start using it, but we're still in bulk season, so I'm going to put it aside and wait a few more weeks to bust it out. Speaking of a few more weeks, I'm super excited about a new series that is going to start the end of March. Let me look at my calendar, see what I think. The first episode of this series is going to air March 24th, and it's going to be a lunar cycle series. So for 4 weeks, we're going to go through the 4 different major phases of the lunar cycle. And the reason why I chose that week is because that Thursday, I believe it is, the 29th, is the new moon in Aries. So when the sun moves into Aries is when the equinox is, and it is when the new astrological year begins. The first astrological sign is Aries, and so that is where it starts. And I am super excited also, because I start a new planner when the new astrological new year starts, and this is the planner that I got this year. It is called the Legend Planner, and I got one for my son many, many years ago. I don't know if he actually ever liked it, but this is a full, I think it's called A5. It's like a 8.5 by 11. I think it's actually like 8 by 11, but it's like a full-size book, and it has places for you to write all your different goals for the day, for the week, for keep up with habit tracker. It's an amazing planner. I will leave a link for it in the show notes. Also in the show notes, I will leave a link to my email. So after listening to this episode, if you have anything that you would like to email me, I would love some stories. Since we're talking about why motherhood is so magical, I would absolutely adore for some of you listeners to write in and give me some of your magic moments. Tell me what you think is magical about motherhood. Let's share these stories. And if you want to, I could even have you on the show. I would love that. I would love to interview anyone that is willing to be interviewed and would like to share in this experience. So I will leave what did I say? A link to the planner. And I'm writing it down so I don't forget. I'm the worst. Links to the planner and a link to my email. All right, so let's see what card we have this week. This week we have Bridget. It says, may the serpent wake, bellowing the rising flame and beckoning the wisdom that awaits your return. And it has the goddess Bridget standing over her cauldron, and there's a snake coming out, and it looks like there is a black fox or maybe a black wolf laying at her feet. There's a little corn dolly hanging in the tree, and there's some stars. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous card. So let's see what the book has to say about the Bridget card. The key words are many manifestations, embracing all your parts, and authenticity. Bridget, one of the most complex and beloved deities of Celtic mythology, is known by many names, including Brigida and Brigittania. Her lore is equally abundant. She is a goddess of fire and water and is connected with healing, craftsmanship, metalsmithing, agriculture, poetry, motherhood, children, life, and death. That's a lot of stuff. To me, that sounds like a mom for sure. She's depicted as being many ages, having been known as each aspect of the triple goddess, the maiden, mother, and crone. But to say she is one thing would diminish her beauty and power. Unlike any other pagan deities, she is one of the few to survive Christianity's attempt to erase her influence. Bridget's appearance in your reading means it is okay to be more than one thing, to change your mind, or even be something to one person and a different thing to another. Who you are at work requires a very different person from who you are with friends. And who you were in the past does not have to be who you are today. This card validates your desire to take a different path, but also invites you to embrace all the parts of who you are, giving each part of your personality room to shine when appropriate. In the rare event this card falls from the deck in reverse, it can mean you are allowing others to put you into a box in which you don't belong. Being true to yourself is its greatest power. I adore this card for this week because we are talking about all of the magic of motherhood, but one of the things that we're going to go into is all of the different hats that as moms we have to wear. And so I think that Bridget is a perfect, shining, wonderful goddess for us to focus on this next week and really concentrate on being true to ourselves, even if being true to ourselves means wearing different hats and being different at different times, because it is true. What we have to do one place is not necessarily what we have to do another place, but that doesn't mean that we can't be authentic in both places. So really focus on taking care of yourself this week and focus on being the best version of yourself, because the spirit of Bridget is with you and she is here to help you shine your light to all of the people that are around you. So fantastic card for the week. I really like that. I'm going to miss these blue cards whenever we go to the next deck. I'm so excited though. The Ostara deck is the last deck in the series. And so I have all 8 of the decks of the Wheel of the Year and I just adore them. So let's get started with today's episode. So what in the world does make motherhood so magical? We are going to talk about that. We already talked about what's coming up with the lunar phases. Solid invitation to all of you to share your own magical mom moments. Please email me or leave some in the comments. However it works best for you. Please share your own magical mom moments. They're the best. So the everyday magic in being a mom One of the things that we have to focus on are the small but powerful moments. Motherhood is filled with all kinds of great milestones: first steps, first words, first days of school. But often it's the smallest moments that carry the deepest magic. It's in the way a baby's tiny fingers wraps around yours, holding on with an unspoken trust. It's in the way your kids' eyes light up when they see you at the end of the day, as if you're the most important person in their world, because you are. These little moments are often fleeting and unnoticed by anyone else, but they are what makes the soul of motherhood. There is so much magic in the quiet moments: rocking a baby to sleep, feeling their tiny body relax against yours, hearing their soft, steady breathing. There is magic in the messy and chaotic ones too. When a toddler suddenly bursts into giggles over something silly, or when a simple bedtime story turns into an endless conversation about life, dreams, and make believe worlds. Even the challenging moments, wiping away tears after a scraped knee or soothing a child through a bad dream, we are profound reminders of the deep connection between mother and child. Perhaps the most powerful part of these small moments is they often go unnoticed in the rush of everyday life, but they are the ones that linger in the heart long, long after childhood has passed. The whispered I love yous, the little hand reaching for yours, the sleepy cuddles early in the morning. These are the moments that make motherhood truly, truly magical. And as a mom that has kids from in their 20s all the way down to 7, I can tell you that I have lived through every stage of childhood. And boy, there is just magic in those small moments at every single age. It doesn't stop being magical just because they turn into adult children. So just know that sometimes it's hard. It's so hard to remember when they were tiny. Journal about it while they're tiny if you can, or if they're already older, journal about what you remember about them being tiny, because then you'll have a written record of those little moments, of those magic moments. You know, I'm a big proponent of those cheapo composition books. I just started a new one for this year, and on the front of it I wrote magic moments, and that's what I'm going to use it for. I'm just going to write during this next year what all those moments are. Another super, super magical part of being a mom in general is the way that us moms instinctively know what our kids need. There is such an unexplainable magic in the way a mother just knows what her child needs, often before a single word is ever even spoken. It's in the way that moms can sense when her baby is hungry or tired, or maybe just needs to be held. It's in the way moms recognize the difference between a cry of frustration and a cry of pain, even when they sound nearly identical to everyone else. A mother's intuition is powerful. It is built just on, not just on experience, but on the unbreakable connection that begins long before birth. As children grow, this deep knowing does not fade, it only evolves. A mom can tell when her child has had a rough day at school just by the way they walk through the door. Moms notice the small hesitations, the forced smiles, and the little shifts in energy that others might overlook. Moms can sense when her teenager needs space and when they need to be gently nudged into conversation. That's something that was very much of a struggle whenever my older ones were teenagers. And now that Clara is a tween, I feel that I'm much better at it than I was with the first group of teenagers. I feel much more prepared going into it this round. But even without words, Us moms understand when to comfort, when to encourage, and when to just simply sit beside our kids and be silent. Sometimes they just need mom, but they don't want to say, I need you, mom, especially once they start getting older. When they're young, of course, oh, I need you, mommy. I need you, mommy. I need you, mommy. But there's something so magical in sitting silently with those older kids that need you, but don't know how to verbalize how much they need you. The thing is about instinct is it's not something that can be taught. It's something that just grows inside of us with love and patience and an ever-present awareness of our child's heart. And though it may seem ordinary, it's one of the most extraordinary aspects of motherhood. It's a quiet kind of magic, the kind that reassures, protects, and reminds a child in both spoken and unspoken ways that they are deeply known and endlessly loved. So, love the magic that you have that just is that instinctive knowing what they really need. Trust it. Don't doubt yourself. There's a meme that goes around pretty often that says, if you're asking if you're a good mom, then you already are a good mom, because moms that aren't good are not doubting whether or not they're a good mom. So if you doubt yourself that you are a great mom, you probably are a freaking fantastic mom, because you care enough to even doubt that you may not have your shit together. And that's okay. We're okays here. You don't have to have your shit together. You can just have some shit, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm here to support that. And I hope that all of you are here to support yourself and show up for yourself. But just know that your intuition is going to get better the more time you spend as a mom. And so if you're a new mom, don't be discouraged. Keep on going. You got this. Another very magical aspect of motherhood is the joy that we get to have seeing the world through our children's eyes. One of the most magical parts of motherhood is the way it allows you to see the world through your child's eyes. Suddenly, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. A butterfly landing on a flower isn't just nature at work, it's a tiny miracle. Puddle jumping becomes an adventure. A cardboard box transforms into a spaceship, and the simple act of blowing bubbles turns into pure enchantment. Children have a way of finding wonder in the smallest details. And as a mom, you get to rediscover that magic right alongside them. There is so much joy in a child's unfiltered excitement. The way they gasp at the sight of a rainbow or giggle uncontrollably over something as simple as a game of peekaboo, or when they insist on showing you every rock, every leaf, every stick, every bug they find as if it is the greatest treasure in the world. Their curiosity is boundless and their enthusiasm is contagious. Through our children, we remember what it's like to be completely present in the moment, to find beauty in things that we might have otherwise overlooked, and to embrace joy without hesitation. Perhaps the greatest gift of seeing the world through your child's eyes is the way it shifts your perspective. The everyday hustle slows down and life becomes less about schedules and to-do lists and more about experiencing the little moments of wonder. You begin to appreciate the magic of a bedtime story, the sweetness of a whispered, I love you, and the pure delight in watching your child experience something for the very first time. Motherhood gives us this rare and beautiful opportunity to relive the wonder of childhood, not just as a memory, but as a living and breathing experience. I think that's fantastic. So the next part of my outline for today's episode is talking about the superpowers of motherhood. The first superpower, which we touched on a little bit, is intuition. How moms always seem to know what's wrong. Mothers have an almost supernatural ability to sense when something isn't right with their child. It's more than just paying attention. It's an unshakable, deeply ingrained intuition that guides us. A mom can hear the difference between a tired sigh and a troubled one. Moms can sense the shift in her child's energy when they try to hide it behind a smile. Whether it's a fever coming on or an unspoken worry weighing on their heart, moms always seem to know when something is wrong. This intuition isn't just about recognizing physical discomfort. It extends to emotional and mental well-being as well. A mom can tell when her child's "I'm fine" doesn't quite match their body language. Moms notice when their laughter lacks its usual sparkle or when they withdraw ever so slightly from their normal routines. Us moms know when to ask questions and when to simply be there, offering silent reassurance until our child is ready to open up. It's a gift that allows us to provide exactly what our child needs, whether it's a hug, a listening ear, or just the comfort of knowing that they're not alone. What makes this intuitive superpower so incredible is that it's not something moms are taught. It's something that we feel. It comes from the deep, unbreakable connection between the mother and child, a bond that transcends words. And while it may seem like magic to outsiders, to a mother, it's simply love in its purest form. The ability to know, to understand, and to be there before her child even realizes they need her. Hone that intuition, trust your gut, know that you already know the answer. And if you really are doubting yourself, find a mom friend to talk with. If you don't have a mom friend, I cordially invite you to join a Facebook group that I have adminned since almost its inception. We have been around almost 10 years now, and it's called World's Okayest Mom. It is one of the most supportive communities of women I have ever experienced. And if you need a mom friend, I promise, in one of the 56,000 moms that we have in that group, there's going to be someone that gets you. So if you need mom support, come join us. Come be a WOM, because we are the world's okayest moms and we want you to be there too. So the next superpower of motherhood is the mastery of multitasking. How the hell do we balance work, home, and family? It is magic in and of itself. One of the greatest superpowers of motherhood is the ability to juggle multiple roles at once, seamlessly shifting between them with a grace that often goes unnoticed. Moms are master multitaskers, balancing work, home, and family with the efficiency that would put any CEO to shame. They can prepare breakfast while answering emails, help with homework while planning tomorrow's schedule, and soothe a crying child while mentally keeping track of a grocery list. It is a nonstop balancing act that requires patience, organization, and an incredible amount of love. The true magic of a mother's multitasking isn't just in getting things done. It's in the way she makes it all feel effortless. She remembers which child likes their sandwich with the crusts off and when the next doctor appointment is and exactly where that missing toy was last seen. She manages the emotional needs of her family just as skillfully as she handles household chores and work deadlines, all while making sure that everyone feels supported and loved. Even on the busiest days when exhaustion sets in, moms somehow find the energy to keep going, driven by the deep, unwavering commitment to her family. What makes this superpower even more remarkable is that it often goes unrecognized. The constant mental load, the endless to-do lists, and the careful coordination of daily life. These are things a mother carries silently without expecting praise or acknowledgement, but the impact of her multitasking is immeasurable. Moms are the glue that hold everything together. We are the steady force that ensure life keeps moving forward smoothly. And while it may feel so freaking overwhelming at times, it's also a testament to the incredible strength, resilience, and selflessness that literally define motherhood. You do a lot of things, you wear a lot of hats. And some days it feels like you cannot even face making kids a bowl of Rice Krispies. Just know there's gonna be days like that. There's gonna be days that you feel like a complete fucking failure, but you are not. You are balancing more things in one day than most men will balance in an entire week. And I am not discounting the help of dads. I could not have gotten through many, many phases of our life without my husband. My husband excels at knowing where one child needs to be at cross country and another child needs to be at football and another child needs to be at cheerleading and then after that also volleyball and then he will always be fantastic at helping me keep the schedule together for what our kids need to do. And I am forever grateful for that. So I shout out to my husband. He gets total props for being the kind of guy that helps take a little bit of that load off of all those hats that I wear. So I hope that you all have someone like that also. If not, just know that you're doing a great job and that there are going to be days that okayest is the absolute best you can give. And that is freaking fine. You're doing fine. It's great. So the next superpower that moms have is emotional resilience and unconditional love. Motherhood demands a level of emotional resilience that is nothing short of extraordinary. Moms endure sleepless nights. We endure tantrums. We endure teenage rebellion. We endure the overwhelming weight of responsibility. Yet we keep going, always finding the strength to show up no matter how exhausted or overwhelmed we feel. We wipe away tears. We offer endless words of encouragement, and we carry the emotional burdens of our children while often setting aside our own emotional burdens. And this resilience isn't just about being strong. It's also about being soft in the moments that matter, offering comfort even when we ourselves are struggling. At the heart of this resilience is a mother's greatest superpower, unconditional love. It's a love that begins before birth and only grows stronger with time. It's a love that doesn't waver no matter how challenging the journey becomes. It's a love that forgives, that sacrifices, that keeps giving even when it receives very little in return. It's the reason a mother can calm a child's fear with just a hug. It's why she instinctively knows how to comfort without words and why she continues to show up with open arms no matter how old her child becomes. This love is what makes motherhood so powerful. It fuels the patience to handle meltdowns, the courage to face difficult parenting decisions, and the endurance to keep going even on the hardest days. A mother's love is both gentle and fierce. It's a quiet force that shapes our children's lives in ways that we may not even recognize until years later. And while the journey of motherhood is filled with challenges, it's this deep, unwavering love that makes every sacrifice every sleepless night and every tough moment more than worth it. That is so true. I'm going to talk about something that's a little hard. So if you are triggered by infant loss, please know that that's what we're about to talk about. You might want to skip forward a minute. But if you have ever gotten pregnant, been so excited because you are going to grow a baby inside of you, and then you lose the baby, you will know what true unconditional love feels like. You will know what that love is that grows inside of you before you ever even see their face for the first time. And that love carries through everything that we do, everything that we do. It is our greatest superpower. Our love is what makes the world go round. So give yourself some grace. Know that you are doing great. And just really, when all else fails, just turn to love. Just love on your kids and it will work itself out. Another superpower of moms is our ability to turn ordinary moments into extraordinary memories. One of the most beautiful superpowers of motherhood is the ability to transform everyday moments into extraordinary memories. What might seem like a simple bedtime story, a trip to the grocery store, or a rainy afternoon indoors can become magical experiences in the hands of a mother. Moms know how to make the smallest things feel special, turning a regular walk into an adventure full of imaginary worlds, a homemade meal into a family tradition, or a spontaneous dance party in the kitchen into a cherished childhood memory. This ability isn't about extravagant plans or grand gestures. It's about finding joy in the ordinary. A mother sees the wonder in her child's eyes as they chase bubbles in the backyard or laugh uncontrollably over a silly joke at the dinner table. Moms understand that it's not about how much money is spent or how perfectly things go. It's about the love and the warmth woven into everyday experiences. Years later, it won't be the big vacations or expensive gifts that children remember most. It will be the feeling of safety in their mother's arms and the way she made them feel special, even in the simplest of moments. Perhaps the true magic of this superpower is that mothers don't always realize they have it. They may feel like they're just going through the motions, handling the chaos of daily life, but in reality, they are creating the moments their children will hold on to forever. The laughter shared over a bedtime story, the comfort of a familiar routine. These are the moments that shape childhood, turning fleeting seconds into lifelong memories filled with love. Now, I mentioned in the last episode about grief that my grandmother, I was her baby. I was my nanny's baby. She brought me home from the hospital. She cared for me as my mom went to work. And to me, in a lot of ways, she felt more like a mom than my own mom did. Not that my mom wasn't there. My mom was always there. And my mom is my mom and I love my mom. But my nanny, there's just something deeper that I've always felt with her. And I remember her teaching me how to two-step in her kitchen when I was probably 8 or 9. And she just taught me how to dance in her kitchen, and I will never forget it. And I actually really love the fact that the floors that we have currently are like the exact same vinyl floors that my grandmother had in her kitchen. And it just brings me such joy because when I dance on the floor with my kids, it makes me remember dancing with my nanny. But there is a song, Memories by Maroon 5, that our family has a lot of mixed emotions. It came out right when my oldest was supposed to graduate. So it kind of feels like her senior song, especially since she was a graduate of 2020. And boy, did that year just go fucking crazy. From March until graduation, I think they went to school 3 times, and it was to like take pictures and practice graduation. It was not a normal ending to that year. They didn't get to have a prom. They didn't get to have all of those normal senior moments that you're supposed to have. But that song reminds Clara, our 10-year-old, of when my mom passed away. And she has a lot of hard feelings around my mom passing away. And every single time that song used to come on, she would bawl like a baby. And one time we were listening to it in the car and she wanted to finish it. And I said, well, let's just go inside and we'll listen to it in there. So I pulled it up on Spotify and I put it to the big Bluetooth speaker in the kitchen. And I played it probably 3 or 4 times and I danced with Clara. Now, Clara used to not have any sort of rhythm. And so teaching her just to kind of slow dance was very challenging at first. She has come a long way. She is actually a percussionist now in instrumental music. And I'm so proud of her because she used to not be able to clap a beat or step her feet to a tune. And now she can do both. But I hope that her memory of us dancing together in the kitchen to Maroon 5 will always be cherished as much as I cherish mine of dancing in the kitchen with Nanny. So it's the simple moments. It really is. We take the small things and make them so magical for our kids. And don't ever negate that. Don't ever minimize how magical it is to do that with our children. So, challenges of motherhood and how our challenges really make life more magical. One of the things as moms we have to do is overcome sleepless nights and exhausting days, especially in the beginning. I always say that God makes you forget the first 4 months of your newborn's life, because if you remembered how bad they sucked, you would never procreate again, and the evolution of the species would come to a complete and fucking utter halt, because the first 4 months of motherhood are so exhausting that you're not allowed to remember them. That's how it works. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. But motherhood is definitely filled with sleepless nights and exhausting days, yet somehow us moms find the strength to keep going. We are powered by a love so deep that it literally defies exhaustion. From the very first sleepless nights with a newborn to the nights spent waking up for a teenager to get home safely, a mother's rest is often secondary to the needs of her child. The fatigue can be overwhelming, but even in the midst of exhaustion, there's an unshakable determination to be present, to comfort, and to give our kids everything that we have. What makes this challenge even more magical is the way that moms push through, not just out of duty, but out of pure, unconditional love. We find ways to function on little sleep, to summon energy when it feels freaking impossible, to show up for our children even when we are running on empty. A mom's ability to keep going, to smile through the exhaustion, and to make even the hardest days feel warm and safe for their children is nothing short of extraordinary. And yet within these challenges, there are also some of the most tender, unforgettable moments. That quiet stillness of holding a sleeping baby after a long night, hushed by lullabies sung in the dark. The way a child instinctively curls into their mother's arms for comfort. These moments, though exhausting, are deeply beautiful. Overcoming sleepless nights and exhausting days isn't just about surviving the fatigue. It's about embracing the depths of love and devotion that makes motherhood truly magical. Another challenge that brings so much magic to motherhood is finding strength even when we're feeling overwhelmed. Motherhood is a journey filled with overwhelming moments, times when the weight of responsibilities feel crushing, when patience is tested, when exhaustion meets self-doubt. There are days when a mother may feel stretched too thin, trying to balance work, home, and the constant needs of our children. But these moments when she questions if she's doing enough, if she's making the right decisions, or if she has anything left to give. But even in those moments of doubt and exhaustion, moms find a strength within them that we did not know existed. This strength doesn't come from having all the answers or never feeling tired. It comes from love. It's the quiet determination that helps a mom push through when she feels like giving up. It's the ability to wipe away her own tears after a tough day and still be the safe place her child runs to. It's the resilience to keep showing up, even when we feel drained, because we know that our presence, our love, and our care make all the difference in our child's world. In those moments, something magical happens. A mother learns just how strong she truly is. She discovers that even on the hardest days, love fuels her forward. She finds joy in the small victories. Through the overwhelming moments, she doesn't just survive. She grows. She loves, and she creates a world of warmth and security for her children, making motherhood even more magical despite its challenges. You are more resilient than you give yourself credit for. Look how far you've already come. Look at where you are now compared to 5 or 10 years ago. I guarantee that you have grown as a mom, as a person, as a spiritual being. You have picked up more resilience along the way than you realize. So don't discount how much you've been through. Know that what you do is challenging, but you are kicking ass at it. All right. Another challenge that brings so much magic to motherhood is learning and growing alongside our child or our children. Motherhood is often seen as a role of guidance and teaching, but one of the most beautiful aspects is that moms are constantly learning and growing right alongside their children. No mother begins the journey with all the answers. She figures things out as she goes, adapting to new challenges and discovering more about herself with each stage of her child's life. From the sleepless nights of infancy to the emotional roller coaster of adolescence, motherhood is a continuous process of learning, adjusting, and evolving. Every new experience, whether it's soothing a newborn's cries, navigating a toddler's tantrums, or having a deep conversation with your teenager, it teaches you something new. You learn patience, resilience, and the art of letting go. You discover strengths you never knew you had, and you gain a deeper understanding of love, sacrifice, and selflessness. In many ways, a mother grows just as much as her child does, gaining wisdom, perspective, and a heart that expands with each passing year. What makes this journey even more magical is that the lessons don't just come from the challenges. They come from the moments of joy, the moments of laughter, the moments of pure connection. A child teaches their mother to see the world through fresh eyes, to embrace curiosity, and to find wonder in little things. Through the ups and downs, A mother doesn't just raise a child, she grows into the best version of herself. And in that shared journey of love and discovery, motherhood becomes something truly extraordinary. We are learning and growing as we do this. No one is handed, I mean, even if you're handed what to expect when you're expecting and what to expect the first years and what to expect the fill in the blank, we still don't know what the fuck we're doing. We are still playing this day by day, shooting from the hip. And every year we have more experience, but that does not mean we have more answers. It just means we've been through some of this stuff before. So, once again, give yourself grace. Let yourself know that it's okay to mess up. You don't have to be perfect. It is okay to be okay. One of my favorite analogies is that children are like pancakes. The first few come a little fucked up, but then after a while, you get the hang of it and they turn out pretty okay. And that I joke about. But yes, we have a set of older children and a set of younger children. And the way that we parented the older children is so very, very different than the way that we parent the younger children, to the point that the older children give a shit about it all the time. Like, I will be real with my oldest. I was a very crunchy mama. I breastfed. I, made her baby food. Everything was very healthy. It was, as healthy as I could afford for it to be. The only time she had fast food was probably when my mom shoved it down her face. I did not feed her fast food. And then the babies come along, and Zeke's first Happy Meal was probably at 13 months. As soon as he was old enough to gnaw on some French fries, he was eating McDonald's. And I remember Abby calling me out and being like, dude, you didn't let me have anything bad my whole childhood, and this kid is already eating McDonald's. What the fuck? And I was like, sorry, things change. And they do. Things do change. But that's how it's supposed to be. Things change as you learn and you adapt, and you learn to adapt to what is going on. So know that you don't have to have the answers. That challenge of not knowing is a blessing in itself. So our last challenge that makes motherhood more magical involves the importance of self-care and support systems. One of the greatest challenges of motherhood is the tendency to put everyone else's needs before our own. Us moms give endlessly, caring for our children, managing households, juggling responsibilities, often without ever pausing to take care of ourselves. But the truth is, a mother's well-being is just as important as her family, if not more important, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. The magic of motherhood doesn't come from running on empty. It comes from finding balance, taking moments to recharge, and recognizing that self-care is not a luxury, but a necessity. Taking time for self-care, whether it's a few moments with a book, a short walk, or a deep breath between the chaos, allows a mom to show up as her best self. It reminds us that we are not just a caregiver, but we are a person with actual needs and dreams and emotions of our own. When we prioritize rest, health, and happiness, it doesn't take away from our family. It enriches our family. A well-rested and supported mom has more patience, more energy, and more love to give. Equally important is the strength found in support systems. Whether it's family, friends, or fellow moms who understand the journey, having people to lean on makes all the difference. Motherhood was never meant to be a solo mission. It thrives on connection. Seeking support, asking for help, and surrounding yourself with understanding voices allows you to navigate challenges with greater ease and so much more joy. In embracing self-care and leaning into your village, we not only nurture ourselves, but we teach our children the invaluable lesson that love and strength come from taking care of both yourself and others. I am such a proponent of self-care and self-love because, like I said, we cannot pour from an empty cup. If we do not take care of ourselves, we are not the best version of ourselves for our family. So take time to take a breather. If you haven't listened to the episode about boundaries, listen to the episode about boundaries. Self-care begins with boundaries. And when you can start making healthy boundaries, you will notice immediately an improvement in your life. Like for real, for real. All right. I have a bunch of stories that I was going to read, but we're already running kind of long. So I think I'm going to skip that part. We are going to move on to some wisdom and words of encouragement. This is a list of things that in general, I believe that seasoned moms wish that we knew this earlier. I consider myself a seasoned mom. I have been momming since 1999. It is now 2025. So I have been momming in some capacity for 25 years. No, wait. 1999. No, that's right. Sorry, I don't do mental math well. Ask any of the fifth graders I work with. They laugh at me all the time because mental math is not my forte. But one of the things that I think most seasoned moms wish that we knew earlier is that it is okay to ask for help. It's okay. One of the most common pieces of advice seasoned moms wish they'd had earlier is the importance of asking for help. In the early days of motherhood, many women feel like they have to do it all, balance work, household chores, and childcare, all while maintaining a perfect image of calm. But the truth is, no one can do it alone. Moms wish they had asked for more support from family, friends, or even hired help when needed. Asking for help doesn't make you weak or incapable, it makes you wise. It's a reminder that self-care and support systems are crucial for both your well-being and your ability to be there for your child. Next, you don't have to be perfect. Let me say it again. You don't have to be perfect. No mom is perfect, yet many of us feel the pressure to be perfect. Seasoned moms often reflect on how much time they've spent trying to do everything right, worrying about every little detail from what they fed their babies to whether they were disciplining correctly. In hindsight, they wish they had known that their love and presence are what matters most. The messy, imperfect moments like burnt dinners, mismatched clothes, and a missed play date do not define motherhood. It's the consistent love, patience, and encouragement that you offer that will shape your child's future, not the picture perfect image you try to create. Stop trying to be perfect. Embrace okayist. Okayist is good enough. I promise. I am such a happier mom and happier wife and happier woman in general since I have embraced being okayist. Okayist is the best thing that ever happened to me because it gives me the grace to know that I do not have to be perfect because I don't, and neither do you. Next is trust your instincts. Moms who have been through it all often wish they had trusted their intuition more in the early years. It's easy to second guess yourself in the face of advice from well-meaning family members or the endless guidance on parenting blogs. But seasoned moms often say that when they finally trusted their gut, they found greater peace and confidence. Each child is different, and there is no one-size-fits-all approach. Your instincts as a mother are more powerful than you may realize, and trusting them can lead to more fulfilling and authentic parenting. So please Trust your instincts. Next is the little moments matter most. When you are in the thick of motherhood, it is easy to get caught up in the milestones and big achievements, like the baby's first word, first day of school, or graduation. But seasoned moms often reflect on how the little moments, the quiet snuggles, the bedtime stories, the shared secrets are the ones that truly matter. These small, everyday moments of connection are what create lasting memories and deep bonds with your children. They remind you that you don't need grand gestures to show love. It's the simple, consistent acts that mean the most. So hold on to those little moments because they really do. That is where the magic lies, are in those tiny, quiet moments that we have with our kids. Next is take care of yourself first. It's easy to get lost in the demands of motherhood and to put your own needs last. However, seasoned moms often wish, sorry, my paper's sticking together, often wish that they had known earlier how vital it is to take care of themselves. I am one of those women. I did not take care of myself until I probably didn't even start until 10 years ago. 10 years ago, when I had Clara, I had some health scares and I kind of woke up to taking care of myself physically. But it wasn't until during the pandemic it was before the pandemic, but during the pandemic, I really committed to taking care of myself mentally. And I am a completely different person than I was 5 years ago. I'm a completely different person than I was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And that's really what it's all about. It's about growing. But as you're growing, you have to take care of yourself. Self-care is not selfish. It is necessary. When you prioritize your physical and emotional health, you are so much better equipped to care for your children. So whether it's taking a few minutes each day to do some breath work, maybe it's getting regular exercise, or simply just having a quiet moment. Taking care of yourself replenishes your energy, your patience, and your love. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So take care of yourself. The last one is time passes so quickly. Seasoned moms often wish they had known how quickly time flies. The sleepless nights and long days may feel endless in the moment, but before you know it, your baby will be walking, talking, and asking for more independence. The challenges may seem overwhelming, but the years go by so fast. The little moments of joy, connection, and growth are so precious. Cherish the small moments because they're what make the entire journey worthwhile. Time may seem slow on some days, but it's always racing towards tomorrow. All of these words of wisdom are a reminder that motherhood is a journey filled with learning and growth. There is no perfect way to parent, but as seasoned moms know, the love and effort you put into raising your children are the things that truly matter. And this is a message to new and expecting moms from a seasoned mom. And this is what I want to tell you. To all the new and expecting moms out there, first, let me tell you that you are already doing an amazing job. I know it can feel overwhelming, and there are so many unknowns in this journey, but you are exactly the mom that your baby needs. It's okay to feel nervous, unsure, and exhausted. Those feelings are all a part of the beautiful chaos of motherhood. There will be days when you question yourself, when things don't go as planned, and when it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. On those days, remember, you are not alone. No one has it all figured out. And it is okay to ask for help, to take a break, and to give yourself grace. Your love, your effort, and your presence are what matters most. You are enough. Cherish the quiet moments and the small victories, because in the hustle and bustle of motherhood, those are the moments that truly shine. The sleepy snuggles, the way your baby looks up at you with trust and love, the sound of their laughter. They are all reminders that you are creating something incredibly special and that your bond with them will only grow stronger every day. Trust your instincts because they are powerful. You have everything within you to be the wonderful mom your child needs. It may not always feel like it, but each day you're learning, growing, and showing up for your little one in ways that matter more than you realize. Take it one step at a time, one breath at a time. And remember that you are not defined by perfection, but by the love that you give. You've got this. I believe in you with all my heart. The world's okayest magic mom. I hope that this episode touched each and every one of your hearts on some level today. And as we part, I want you to remember that you are the magic of motherhood. It is you. The magic is inside of you. And when we slow down and we cherish these small moments, we bring more magic to our lives, to our children's lives, to the world. And we are here together with each other as a community. Let's be each other's village. Let's show up for each other every day and remind each other that we need to give each other grace and give ourselves grace, and that nothing has to be perfect, that it can all be messy and chaotic and beautiful at the same time. So I hope that you moms can find the magic every day, to make a little magic every day. And until next time, moms, just keep on making magic. I love you guys. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everything. Have a great week. Until next week, just keep on being magic.